So, a quick analysis of just what I am going to be choosing this November. I have a choice between picking 2 school board members in one election. So there's going to be a handful of choices, which I don't even know who's got their signatures turned in just yet. 2 of the 5 school board members are up for election, and I think both of them are stepping down, so they're both open seats. So that means we're definitely going to get 2 brand new school board members. And the city school, the budget for the city school is actually higher than the city itself. The city schools has a bigger budget than the city. The county budget, the county schools also has a higher budget than the city. So yeah, the city, they're trying to get that strange mayor question on the ballot. I hope that they actually print up the amount of money that the strange mayor is going to be making, because it's $8,333 per month. $8,000 per month. Can you imagine making $8,000 every month? But that's actually just about $150,000 or so. So that's what the city manager is being paid right now. That's about what the city lawyer is being paid right now. And then the deputy city manager, they're making 6 figures, $108,000 a piece, and there's 2 of them. So that little circle, if that's what you were sitting there saying, that we need to have a lucrative mayor to increase the, to get the best talent. We already got a strong fucking mayor. It's called the city manager. If you want to become city manager, then put in your application. Put in your application in front of city council. Make your case. You're a better city manager than Sam is. And then get hired. Get hired on as city manager. Then you're the fucking mayor, okay? That's if you want the strong mayor. If you want, who do you want to be strong mayor? That's what the question is. I'm gonna start asking people behind, anybody that wants a strange mayor. You want a strange mayor? What if the strange mayor becomes a fucking dictator, like a total dick, right? Tater. A dictator. A dictator's a dick, and this dictator says, let's just exterminate a bunch of Jews. Are you going to be happy with yourselves then? Because y'all went ahead and got you're voting for tyranny. Is that, yes, you're like, do we want this little shadowy cabal group of people to form all these decisions and just impose them on the rest of us? Yeah, sure, fuck it, why not? Are you so traumatized from last year's election? You had all them judges, all them choices, all those, about 19 ballot questions. There was 19 ballot questions last year for Pueblo. Pueblo had, about 10 ballot questions from the city and the state, and then local, and then there was about 10 ballot questions from the state, and then we had the presidential election, the senator election, and then there was the retention elections for 13 different judges, and then there's some other shit too, like I can't remember, state senator maybe, I don't know, U.S. senator. But a shit ton of fucking decisions. So it was like last year, make every decision about everything. And then this year, I got a school board election, I got a city council election, and then I got 4 stupid ballot questions. And that's what the whole point of all of this is. But I think this is actually just a good overview of what's going on. So there's a District 1 and a District 3 race. I'm in District 4, so I don't vote in those 2 city council races. There's 4 city council people, which could represent an electoral revolution, 4 out of 7, right? So we could totally change the makeup of the city council to make it an actual progressive city council, one that doesn't mind, leading with their heart. Save money, but lead with your heart. Give a shit. Give a damn. If the government isn't here to help us, then why the fuck do we even have a government? If the government isn't helping us, then, sayonara, There's what the fuck is the point is for the government to increase prosperity and security for all the rest of us, right? To provide services, to essentially increase the standard of living, and to try to bring good jobs and make sure the buses run on time. There's, a lot of things that that we need them to do, but if they're not going to help us, again, if we have a government who doesn't help us, why do we have a government at all? So there's four stupid fucking questions, four dumb ballot. There's also the District 70. They got 3 of the 5 that's running too. So there could be an electoral revolution with the county school board election. It's possible. And again, you know, my general, very, I guess, overgeneralized analysis is that incumbents are bad and newcomers are good. So Sandy Gutierrez, I would say, is a progressive revolution. That's a point for the progressives. But Dan Archibarbecue, he is going to be, you know, put right back in the same chair that he was put in. A 6-year term. He's getting another 6-year term. I don't feel comfortable with that. He didn't run against anybody else. He's the head of the Civil Service Department, but he was only able to find one applicant for police. He was only able to put out one, you know, APB for the City Civil Service Board. Of course, he's not going to try to get other people to run for Civil Service Board because he wants the fucking position. He wants that power. He's not grooming a successor. He's had 6 years to get his ideas and initiatives, you know, implemented. What more work does he need, you know, to do? But he already wins, so actually I should scale back my criticism. The whole point of a civil service board is to prevent nepotism, and I hope that's what he's doing. I hope he's preventing nepotism instead of just making an eligibility list. These are the only 10 people that can be hired because they're all his friends. That would be horrible because the anti-nepotism board is now the facilitator of nepotism. So it's a very Orwellian named, you know, board. Hopefully he's doing the right thing. The point about pointing out the money is that they're sitting there saying that we're trying to, you know, recruit the best talent. We got to pay the mayor a high wage so we can recruit the best talent. Of course they need to be paid $150,000. That's what we're paying the city manager. And actually I saw the city council people, they get $8,000. The president of city council gets $10,000. And then the city manager gets $150,000. So, like, in terms of just how much money they get from these positions, city council, $8,000. I can make $8,000 work. And then the president of city council, $10,000. So really, there should just be average, regular citizens. You know, unfortunately, a bunch of people, you know, people with money, they just dump a shit ton of money into this thing, and they're able to get their message out there, and that's not a good system. We should have public finance. I don't know if we have debates. I don't know if we're going to see all these candidates get together. When does a community college, does the Colorado State University do any of these things where they, you know, get us a debate? Because we need to have a nice, good, robust debate, a good conversation, not just this sort of like, you know, I saw Muniz and Navarro, their debates, and it just seemed like they both hated each other and they couldn't, like, keep their disdain for each other, you know, temper it down, instead of actually having a conversation. Let's just have a conversation about what are the problems of Pueblo and what can we do to solve those problems. So that, I look forward to those things. That sounds like actually a good Friday night to me. So the point of this entire video is I got my own ballot questions, okay? So I'm not too excited. We can change city council, but I get to pick 2 of the at-large candidates, and then I get to pick 2 of the school board of the Pueblo City School Board election, and then I get 4, you know, fucking stupid-ass ballot questions. I get 4 dumb. Mark Aliff is against, he's like, fuck all those ballot questions. And I think that's actually that should be the default position of any person, right? I mean, conservative. Like, I feel like you should, like, take a step back, look at the thing first, and then, make a decision later on. And if you look into it and you really like what you see, you know, vote for the thing, but don't just be like. Anyways, all right. So the 4 questions are: there's a monthly utility tax for roads, and I think it's going to be on the water bill. So a monthly utility tax every month. We're going to get taxed to build these roads and fill out these potholes. Then there's a sales tax increase for 24 new cops. And then there's the strange mayor, wimpy, wussy, pussy city council ballot question, right, for the Gardasard Nicole government. So there's that question, the strange mayor question, which this is important because while I'm not for sure about Jenny Paulson's, there's also question 300. So Jenny Paulson's, I'm calling this Jenny Paulson's 24. This is her small army. Jenny Paulson's small army, her 24 troopers and administration. So this is a good counter to the 24 cops. Who are we giving the 24 cops to? To the police chief? To the city council? Anybody? Just here's 24 cops, just hire just any old fucking person. At least with question 300, we got the person. We got the person that we hold accountable for those 24 police officers. Jenny Paulson, this is your ballot initiative. You'll be the one that administers. This will be the one, you'll know what the hell's going on. And so this is your baby. You'll either be the executive director or the spiritual head of this, who the executive director will always go to. So this would be her army. Now, is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? I don't, Jenny Paulson, she seems nice enough, but these 24 new cops, is Troy Davenport, is he better than, Jenny Paulson? Who would you trust more? And just right off the bat, because she's a citizen, I would trust Jenny Paulson more with 24 new police officers. Off the bat, okay? So I don't know either one of their philosophy when it comes to the, their philosophy of government or their philosophy of policing, or, if they recognize that there's bad cops and that they could be fired and that we need to protect the whistleblowers and that we do need an oversight board. So anyways, those are the 4 questions. A very complicated question about getting, 24 officers are all neighbors, and then you audit and this and that. So Jenny Paulson, do we want to give the citizen Jenny Paulson and a small army of 24 cops? Here you go, Jenny, you take the 24 cops. Do we just want to make 24 new cops out of a void and just kind of, give it to whoever the fuck is in power? All right, yeah, sure. Whoever's in power, here's some new cops. Go ahead, just do whatever you want with them. And that's the 2 ballot questions, which are kind of contradictory. Then there's monthly utility tax for roads. So I don't like the monthly tax thing. I don't like it's on the water bill. We're paying for the road. Why was this tax on the water bill? What the fuck? And then how could the water board allow something like this? And then the water board, should they do the Tabor Fund thing and then get us a pool and aquatic center like Pueblo West is doing? Pueblo West is building a pool. How come we got 5 water board members and we're not getting ourselves a pool? And we should have a gym. Okay. Yeah, for everybody's like, what are the kids going to do? The kids don't have nothing to do during the summer. They're just getting in trouble. What about the adults? What do the adults do? Just, all get together and yell at your kids? We need something to do. So let's have a gym. I think having a nice centralized, a nice pristine centralized gym, or maybe gyms all over the place. So those are my dumb questions, right? These are the questions. So I get 2 school board candidates. I get 2 city council candidates to choose from. Personally, I don't vote in the District 1, District 3, or the county schools. The county might slip a question in where they might try to trick the city to pay for a county jail. The city should pay for a city jail, not a county jail. And let's just have a fucking, like, Aunt B's house or some shit. We can make it very cheap and very economical. We could do something like that. Just have vision, and then what about nonviolent offenders? If we have any nonviolent offenders in our jails right now, just let them go. Let them go free. You need to put the violent people behind bars, not nonviolent people. Get the fuck out of here with this nonviolent bullshit. The war on drugs has failed. You see that with marijuana. The war on drugs has failed. We need to exhaust all peaceful options. Get them some help. Get them some rehab. Give them a fucking hug. Give a shit. Talk to them, right? Just ask them about their damn day. Community policing would go a long way with that. Just have a police officer go visit these addicts every day, ask them how they're doing, what they're working on, and then that's it. As long as they're peaceful, not doing... If they're being violent... Okay, when you injure people, that's when you need to be in jail. When you're violent, when you're robbing, stealing, when you're hurting other people, raping, murdering. These are the worst crimes out there. But if you're not being violent, then that's not a crime against me. It's a crime against yourself. Or maybe that's just the pursuit of your own happiness. Okay? So y'all ready for my questions yet? So I'm not happy with these 4 ballot questions. Question 300, strange mayor, the monthly utility tax for roads, or the sales tax increase for 24 new cops. So here's my ballot questions. Y'all ready? So other issue questions I'd rather see on Pueblo's ballot. I think I should just put other questions. Should Pueblo City have a charter convention with its main purpose to draw up a new charter to present to the voters at a special election at a later date? Should we end the war on terror? Should there be a citizens oversight board for the police? How many solar trees do you want in Pueblo City? 1, a dozen, or 1,000? Isn't it time we audited everybody? Should the owners of dogs be responsible for their dogs' behavior? Should we be nicer to each other? Isn't it about time we eradicate poverty? Do you want free public Wi-Fi? Do the people of Pueblo want to end the contract with Black Hills in 2020? How many miles of fiber optics should Pueblo City invest in? Does Pueblo City have enough bureaucrats? Should we start a big rock candy mountain for the homeless on the outskirts of town? Let's get rid of these godforsaken criminal red light cameras. Eh? Huh? Yes or no? Should Trump be banned from owning any property in Pueblo? Should all property abandoned by their absentee landlords resort back to the city? Should we get an architect to design super efficient public housing? Are you in favor of constructing a clean and professional adult gym, centrally located or several of them all over? Do you want one centralized, or do you want lots of clean and professional adult gyms? Pueblo. How many gas stations should Pueblo City invest in? 1, 2, or 9? Same thing. Buy gas stations all over and will depress, no more price gouging, especially with what they're doing after Hurricane Harvey. Owning a gas station will prevent price gouging. I'm not saying we should monopolize it. The city shouldn't monopolize the gas stations, nor should they mandate you to go buy their gas, but having a public option, I don't think that's a great fucking idea. Let's increase this competition. So I like that. There's some services you don't need 20 different competitors. You need one good fucking okay. Isn't it about time Pueblo City bought an internet company and a trash company to give us a public option in those industries? Should we start our Sweden's trash to electric program this month or at the end of the year? If we really wanted to get a program passed, wouldn't it be easier to do it behind the citizens' backs and do it while in session instead of trying to campaign for it on a public ballot? Isn't it easier to convince 4 out of 7 instead of the majority of 107,000? Isn't it easier to just demand shit instead of getting permission from the people? How many other important issues are being decided behind our backs? Vote yes or no. Shouldn't we, the people, get to pick the contractors? Shouldn't the city as the people... Shouldn't we as the city get to choose about budget items? Shouldn't we have the decision about budget items? Isn't it about time we end the war on drugs? Should we only legalize crack and prostitution? This is the Stapleton Amendment. Should we only legalize crack? Don't end the war on drugs, just legalize crack and prostitution. Why wouldn't we consolidate into one Pueblo? Yes or no? Should we call our new municipal electric company Pueblo Muni Electric? Should Pueblo City-owned Elmond and walking stick golf courses be affordable to even the poor? Who wants that recycling center in their neighborhood? Bessemer does. We'll take that recycling center here. Provides jobs, recycling. It's a good thing. Isn't it time we exterminated all the goat heads plus poison ivy, poison sumac, poison hemlock, and poison oak? You can raise a whole yard full of poison ivy. That's totally okay. I want some cannabis gardens. Cannabis gardens. Right? 18 plants. Isn't that what we got the ballot amendment last year? We're allowed to raise 18 plants per parcel. Should we nominate Sam Azad for mayor? Should we change the motto of our town to the Napa Valley for the marijuana industry? Should we invest in a Bitcoin that is backed by marijuana? Should we nominate one of Sam Azad's 2 deputy secretaries? Which one? Do you know either one of their names? I don't. Who are these people? They're making 6 figures. Shouldn't the city just buy everybody solar panels to install on their rooftops and home batteries to store the electricity? To just get everybody off the grid? Everybody in the city off the grid? Shouldn't we just get off the grid? Shouldn't we buy one of the Walmarts? Let the profits go into our coffers. Should we annex Pueblo West? Should Pueblo City form its own bank? Should we annex Colorado City? Should we get a marijuana migrant welcome station at the Big Rock Candy Mountain? Shouldn't we all just love each other? So there's my, 20 to 30 other ballot questions that are way fucking better than the choices that we're being presented with this November coming up. I'm going to try to do my best to, talk about it and promote it. It's some decision, so I guess we'll have a lot of attention that's on it, but I think that might be a bad thing because when you don't have much power, all we have is the power to vote, and we only got 4, things to decide on. You want to be part of, something, building something, constructing something, being something. But I feel like as of right now, I'm opposed to all the ballot questions, and I'm not for sure about the candidates. There's 7 different candidates, so I think that there's going to be progressive candidates that I'll be able to vote for in the school board and the city council election. So I think the main power actually will be with the city council and the school board elections, because we definitely will have, a human body, a person who will be sitting there, and they need to have a progressive mindset, a progressive mentality, and then they have to be able to implement that progressive mindset. So they'll have to be able to stand up and say, this is what I believe in. They have to confront the powers that be and just basically be fearless. Be fearless for the people. Just like William Justice Goebel said. So be fearless for the people. And if we could find these pure progressives and get them, 2 school board members and 2 city council members, then I think that would change, more substantially than these ballot questions. The strange mayor ballot question will cause a constitutional crisis, and I'm not for sure how that constitutional crisis will shake out. You have one of the candidates in District 1 that's saying that they will go ahead and promise to get a charter convention right now. So they may have done it backwards, but perhaps it's like a litmus test to see if people would want to change the form of government. Once they say, yes, let's change the form of government, then maybe the powers that be that put that question forth know, they're going to go ahead and form a charter convention. I don't think it's guaranteed. I think that I'm going to continue to remain skeptical on that. Strange mayor could change a lot of shit. Jenny Paulson's small army could change some things in her area, and then what are her policies? So what exactly will these police officers, what would they be doing differently? What are their, what makes them different? What would make her small army different than the rest of the police? And then the monthly utility, just every fucking month, a tax every month for roads. I don't like it. I know that, taxes, it's not that much. It's for roads. It's important. It's just, I don't know. I'm not comfortable with it, and I'm not comfortable with the sales tax increase for 24 new cops. Same reason for Jenny Paulson's, because this is going to Troy Davenport, so Troy Davenport's going to choose this. Dan Archer Barbecue, the Civil Service Board, they're going to create these eligibility lists. I don't know. I'm with Jimmy Dore, and the problem with the police is the culture that the police has came out of. And so, unless we have an oversight board, I'm not going to be in favor of any new police officers. I want to make sure we have good police officers. There needs to be whistleblower protection for when good police officers say another, a cop committed a crime, that there's a domestic violence dispute. So there are times when police arrest other police, and that actually makes me feel more comfortable with the arresting officer because it shows that everybody must abide by the law. So if a police officer breaks the law, then they are willing to arrest that police officer. That's what the rule of law means. Nobody's allowed to go up and punch anybody. So if a cop goes up and just punches somebody and there's another cop there who witnesses it, that police officer should arrest the first police officer. But there's a thin blue line, and if they have a us versus them mentality, then I don't want that culture to be created. So the sales tax, I think it was like 1/5 of a cent versus a half a cent. I don't know, 1/2 a cent. That's too much. No, that's too much. Only 1/5 a cent. So I'm not for sure about the sales tax increase with the 24 new cops. There were gang problems, and perhaps I have come to Pueblo after all the gang violence has sort of tampered down. But it seems like a pretty nice safe community. We're also spending millions of dollars. 54% of the Pueblo's budget already goes to public safety. There's just as much the county pays. They got a whole host of cops too. So we got like 500 cops in the county, and now we need another 24. I'm not for sure. 24 isn't that much. Public safety is important. Generally, I do think the cops are the good guys. But that's not it's not guaranteed. And if we don't have any of those, the body cameras is a good protection. Having good judges is a good protection against that. But ultimately, I would rather a citizen come across with brand new eyes than somebody that's a part of the machine. You got to be able to fire bad cops, and it's harder than hell. It's hard as hell to fire a bad cop. And that's some bullshit. That should be bullshit. It should be very easy. It should be as easy to fire a cop as it is to fire anybody else. If you're a Donald Trump employee, if you're at McDonald's, it's at-will employment. I know there's the police union, but that might be one instance where I'm not for sure if I agree with public and government unions. So the cops, we're paying the cops to fine us, and then we're paying them to unionize so they get incredible benefits and health care and good retirement. They're doing pretty fucking good for themselves, right? So the way that you guarantee good cops is by checks and balances, right? We have the 3 branches of government to prevent tyranny. So we have checks and balances. Who checks the police? The executive branch checks the police. So the city manager or the new mayor and the city council. Those are the people that check the police. But if they don't know that, if they're not doing their job, if they're kissing, I think the police tail wags the judicial branch dog. And so the judicial branch would be the best ways to sort of govern the police, because if the police, if there's a judge that throws all seatbelt violations out, then the police are not going to continue to arrest people for seatbelt violations. So I think between the cops and the judges, the judicial system, they need to eat, they need to eat stuff. It's a machine. So they need to keep on, getting more and more find more and more criminals to fill their jails and to justify all their existences, because they're, so vital to our whatever. I think the judicial branch is the strongest branch between the legislative and the executive. All this is about the checks and balances. Who checks the police? If the police police us, who polices the police? The internal investigators? Maybe. If they're honest, there's public defenders. Are they good, or are they public pretenders? So I'd like to think that the people actually have a fucking chance. I think the people should have, they all should be given a lawyer, and we should be given a fucking chance. If there's a dispute, a small claims dispute, I would like to think that the court system would, encourage that. Instead of like being a fees-based system, trying to get a little bit here, a little bit there, and then it's basically fucking pointless to use the damn court system in order to, get your neighbor to comply. Either just let it fucking go, or, I don't know, just figure out some other fucking way to get satisfaction, whatever, the problem might be. So, I guess that's about it there. I'm not against police. I want good cops. Andy Griffith, Serpico kind of cops. And it's the culture the culture is what's, if they're smashing these gangsters, that's a good thing. because, but I think that they lead by example. So if they come in and use violence and they shoot first and ask questions later, then everybody else is going to be acting like that. But you could be a cop and be extraordinarily humble. Just say, hey, how are you doing? Get this side, get that side. Make your verdict and think, here's my assessment of the situation. Here's what I want to do about it. Try to solve the thing. And you don't have to arrest, people. Use discretion. So anyways, peace out, Pueblo.